We're live.
Did you tweet it or anything? The new link?
I'm gonna have to.
Okay.
But yeah, that's good. That's
All right.
fine. I'll tweet. I'll be right back. I'll tweet.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Hugo.
Jake.
If you are seeing this later, we're now restarting our Deadpool 2 live stream because we got about 10 minutes in before we realized we had the wrong microphone selected.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah. So, well, they did let us know.
Too late.
Anyway.
Garbage.
So just to reiterate,
what are you people?
What we've gone over so far, this is going to be a spoiler review. Overall, very good film. As far as a comedy sequel, I think it's up there because I think most comedy sequels aren't very good. I mean, this and 22 Jump Street are the only recent ones in memory that I think aren't garbage, so not bad company to be with, I think. We'd already talked about the beginning of the film, how we liked how it started with the references to Logan. We liked how it started with Deadpool dying. That was entertaining. What we didn't talk about, actually, we didn't talk about the opening credit sequence. It was similar to the first one in that it, instead of having like actual produced by, written by credits, it was sort of fourth wall things.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was as strong as the first film, actually, the opening credits thing, because it had already been done. I feel like at this point, even the subversion, because when his girlfriend dies, it's like written by the real villains. Like,
yeah,
it's not as funny as it was the first time, but
I kind of liked some of the jokes in there, but yeah, it wasn't as effective as the first time around, that's for sure.
Also, visually, I don't think it was as interesting as the first one, where it had the slow motion car crash to be zooming around. It did more of a take on like a James Bond type opening sequence where you just have various different stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were talking about how Deadpool's girlfriend dies, how that was very similar to his relationship with Death. I think in the comics, I don't know that much about Deadpool. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to pretend I'm a comics expert. I'm not. I've just read some. But we talked about the afterlife and how that was pretty cool, how they had done him with the wanting to be with his girlfriend, but she's dead and he can't die because of his mutation.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I like that they're setting up that Deadpool like just can't even try to die under any circumstances.
Yeah.
Because that's huge for a like a, I don't know, hopefully they get boiled into at least, maybe not the MCU, but maybe whatever the new X-Men stuff happens. I'd like to see a larger grand thing where maybe at the end of Deadpool's run, if you wanted, it wouldn't be a Logan movie, but his version of a Logan movie, where he kind of like is around forever. You know what I mean? Like long after shit goes down.
That'd be interesting.
You know what I mean? I think it'd be interesting to see Deadpool in a society that just totally kicked the bucket.
That would be interesting.
Boom! It's the Paul Allen. Paul's not here on the couch today. Yeah, he had to go home.
Yeah. Let's see what else happened. We talked about the X Manor and all the fun stuff that happened at the X Mansion. The Stan Lee cameo on one of the pictures on the wall.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed the cameo of the first class X-Men team.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun gag. Him using Cerebro was fun. Then he goes out on his first mission as a trainee X-Man, which they have a fun little. This was a good gag too.
Little jersey.
Which, you know what? If the
like gym class.
If the X-Men were a known entity,
yeah,
that probably would be a thing. That's a fun little taking superheroes and putting them in the real world thing. Funny idea.
Yeah.
I don't know why Colossus would ever expect Deadpool to be good in a situation with a dangerous child.
He did okay. He did decent.
Until he tried to shoot people in the face.
Well, is that bad?
I mean, as far as Colossus is concerned, generally.
Sure, I guess.
Except the principal, I guess, is an abuser who really doesn't like mutants. In the X-Men universe, what a surprise! So,
well, Deadpool brings that up, like, you know, a 1960s metaphor for racism.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons I appreciate Deadpool. And I know that's kind of a reason everybody does. But I was watching the thing. I believe... Geek and Sundry puts this on, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's something questions or whatever. Anyway, basically, Deadpool, the reason he's good is because he is the internet. He is. I know that sounds crazy. Hold on. Shut your fucking whore mouth before it opens. There you go. No, he's very self-aware. He's very, without being self-aware. He's both sides of the coin. He's referential. He makes a lot of pop culture references. It's successful because the way we interact with one another is how Deadpool interacts with the audience in a film, and so it feels extremely relatable in a way. It's like Deadpool. Watching a Deadpool movie is like sitting around with your friends and watching a movie when you talk shit about that movie the whole time. It's a very good experience. Now they make a better case, and it makes a lot more sense when you have a half an hour to discuss why that thesis makes sense. But I really think that they've kind of nailed how Deadpool should operate on the screen, and I think this movie kind of wraps it up as far as like how they started out with the first one. They've really fleshed out the method, I think.
I think they laid it on a little bit too thick with the fourth wall jokes. In this one, I like the ratio. I think the first one could have used a little bit more, but I think this one went a little too far. If the first one had like 30% fourth wall jokes, this one had like 130% of what is necessary. Does that make sense? Because some of them were much more hit and miss in this one for me. Because don't get me wrong, a large part of Deadpool is, we know this is what it is. There's no pretense. Let's joke about it.
Mm-hmm.
But when like joke after joke after joke is just that, it's like, okay, MST3K is funny because it's commenting on a thing happening, not that it's commenting on the fact that it's commenting. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So I feel like it got a little overbearing in some scenes, but
Like what?
It didn't affect. I can't point out to you, but I just know it was a general sense of like they were hitting them too often. Does that make sense?
Do you know what I think? Part of that had to do with your irritation about how your entire movie-going experience was.
I don't think so. I think
your pessimism carries over.
I don't think in this case it did. I think that you need proper spacing between that kind of humor, and I think that they didn't space it properly entirely within this film. That's not to say it's bad. I really, really enjoyed this film. I think it's a really good
Some people
comedy,
said it's better than the first one. How do you feel about that? I feel it's pretty close to equal.
I like them for different reasons.
Right.
The first one suffers from what all first superhero movies generally do, and that's the origin story thing. Although the first one tackled it pretty well in that it jumped around. That helps. But
my favorite first superhero movie, the way they tackled it was Spider-Man. Where like
Tobey Maguire?
No. The last one, because it was an origin story in the way that it wasn't, because like literally after a certain point, was it Ned finds out he's Spider-Man about halfway through the movie?
Yeah.
And
it's like 30, 40 minutes.
Well, almost, yeah, sure. So, end of the first act. He's talking to Ned just on the street. He goes, "No, the spider died." And then you know what I mean? Like literally that's it we get with the story. We don't have to see him get bit. We know how Spider-Man works.
That benefits from
pop culture.
I mean, Spider-Man, is one of the only, I would argue, especially
Batman, Superman.
It's up there with like the Batmans and Supermans as far as like cultural significance and how much people know the backstories. Like if you say Batman to someone, everyone knows Batman's parents were shot. Everyone knows.
I think Deadpool.
Superman
I think Deadpool needed one. I'm just saying, like
even I would argue in the Tobey Maguire one handled it better than most other Marvel movies ended up having to, because so much of the later Marvel movies end up being the first film is just the whole origin story, whereas the Tobey Maguire one, by the end of the first act, he's Spider-Man. He just is. You know what I mean? He is a thing. Jonah Jameson knows he's a thing. The origin story for Spider-Man is wrapped up in the first act in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I'll give him credit for that. I really like that movie.
Tobey Maguire did knit his own suit, though.
No, he did. It's just somehow it was movie quality.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I like that. Like Stark is involved with the design and stuff, and like I don't know. I just feel like we're handling this kind of thing better.
For an internally consistent universe, I agree.
Right,
but, different kinds of movies.
Yeah.
So what else happens after that? Deadpool gets taken to, I don't know if this is a named place in the comics. It wouldn't surprise me if it is, and this is a reference to something. But he's taken to a mutant handling facility, it seems like. They have these special collars, which are never fully explained, which somehow negate mutant powers, which that existing in the Marvel universe or in the universes the X-Men changes things dramatically. The fact that that technology even exists. That was a plot point in X3 that a kid had the power to negate other people's powers. So I find that, again, this is a comedy movie, so you shouldn't dwell on it too much, but I found that an interesting plot device because you kind of need it later in the movie.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine because X-Force is going to be a thing, and I assume they're going to fold in X-Men. Like Days of Future Past and that stuff is going to be kind of like Logan is, where he has tangential, and they're in this movie, but it's so referential that I don't think you have to have them be part of it. And then you can you can cast the new kind of X-Men and make it really good and not terrible. And now the X-Men movies alone wouldn't have to be like comedy fest like a Deadpool movie, but when they're with Deadpool, it would have to be because you're through Deadpool's eyes. I don't think you can have an X-Men movie with Deadpool, but you can have a Deadpool movie with X-Men. Does that make sense?
Because they'd be the straight. It's the same reason Colossus is in the same relationship. They'd be the straight.
Right, but I would love a Wolverine Deadpool movie because assuming they write Deadpool correctly with someone strong like a Wolverine, which I think they would.
I'm going to be honest. In the movie, there's a point where they reference, again, when Deadpool goes to this prison, that in the basement of this prison, there's like a beast.
Did you think it was going to be Hugh Jackman?
You know what? To me, I was like, I know this isn't a thing. I know Logan was it. Yeah. But wouldn't it be amazing if he came back one more time and wore the fucking stupid yellow suit for the Deadpool movie as a joke? Wouldn't it be great if just as a finale?
But would it be great?
I would love it because I like bad stuff like that.
I would like it later, not in this movie, after Logan.
I'm a huge fan of schlocky bullshit like that.
He went back in time at the end of this movie and deleted X-Men Origins Wolverine with the Deadpool.
By the way, my headcanon for why the whole X-Men timeline is fucked up now is Deadpool.
Right, no, that's great. That's amazing. And that might be intentional. They might have gone to Fox like, hey, we know how to reboot your shit. You're not going to like it, but we're going to do it if you want. And they're like, oh, yeah, kill them all, I guess. Even Green Lantern? Oh, it's DC. It doesn't matter. Yes. I very much look forward to, hopefully, a non-Hugh Jackman Wolverine in the future with Deadpool. I think that'd be amazing, especially because think of the fight between those two.
It'd be a lot of fun.
It'd be because Deadpool's cool because you can kill him constantly.
Same Wolverine.
Right.
Yep.
And so just blah, 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 and just the end of that fight being a gory mess where they're both like, fuck.
It'd be hilarious if it ended up with them both as like severed heads that can't do anything
until maybe they move their tongues.
No, Deadpool would probably be trying to talk
and
Wolverine would be like, just shut up.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they slowly regrow their bodies back.
So after that happens, Cable shows up. You get brief scenes of Cable in the future and sort of the post-apocalyptic timeline.
Josh Brolin as Cable and as Thanos. Who's your favorite?
Oh, Thanos. But that's because that's a stronger written character in that movie.
But visually, Cable is fucking impressive. I think they nailed the set design and the makeup and the just kind of like the props and the costume design.
All the production design for Deadpool and Deadpool 2 has been great. It's the best on-screen adaptions of costumes I think I've ever seen.
I used to collect the X-Men trading cards as a child.
Yeah.
It's been years since I've even seen one of those in person, but Cable was always one of my favorites because he's just cool.
Yeah.
And he was like hyper masculine gun shooty guy, but Josh Brolin brings that because he's not like a bodybuilder. He's just fit and he's got the thickest neck on planet Earth.
Yeah.
He's a great Cable. He's a good actor. That helps a lot. I like Josh Brolin since he has two great movies that I think everyone can see. Most people have seen No Country for Old Men. You should definitely watch that. Good Josh Brolin movie. Yeah. Really good Javier Bardem movie. But W. You ever seen that?
No.
He plays George W. Bush.
I know what it is, yeah.
And it's a dark comedy, but it's not like a documentary. It's like a biopic.
Yeah.
Dark comedy about I think we should stop terrorism. Watch this drive. Yeah. That kind of shit. It's really good. You should watch W if you get a shot.
Okay.
But I like him as a comedy role. I don't even know if there's been a Josh Brolin comedy flick ever.
I don't know off the top of my head.
He was a bully in, was he a bully in Goonies?
I don't remember.
I think he was the brother in Goonies?
It's been a while since I've watched Goonies.
Adult Josh Brolin actor, not guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was really nice to see him because he doesn't really make jokes, which is good for Cable.
No, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
He's the straight man to play against Deadpool's zaniness.
I think the closest they got to jokes was when Deadpool's death scene happens.
That is a joke that I honestly felt that's the one joke in the movie I thought went on too long. Either they needed to extend that
one more
longer or back it up by one.
Like one or two, yeah.
There's sort of a pattern to repetitious humor like that where something's it's going on so long, it's ridiculous, it's funny. There are certain places where you can start or stop it where it's funny or not. And I felt like that stopped in an awkward place where it happened too many times or not enough. And it was just okay, we get the joke. He's taking a long time to die.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I think that Deadpool dying could have been extended. I think extend is the way to go there. He needed a little bit more for the joke to be funny again. I don't think taking it back, because the first time it's funny and then it immediately loses. So it's a rule of 2 there, which isn't normal.
Yeah.
The third one wasn't funny, and then the fourth one is like when he decides to go back in time, right?
I don't even remember.
I think it's something like that. So if you went one more or something, I think it would have been good. But I also just like their dynamic as the X. Can we talk about the X-Force?
Sure.
That was great. How are you going to make an X-Force movie without the X-Force? Well, they went back and retconned Rob Delaney, but everyone else is dead.
Well, the X-Force is going to be Deadpool, Cable, Zazie Beetz' Domino.
By the way, Domino's great. We'll talk about Domino at length for.
Yeah, it'll be those people who are walking away at the end.
But and Rob Delaney.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is great. But I went into this movie thinking. The X-Force was going to be like more of a thing, and I'm kind of really glad they didn't give it to me, because it's really easy to go, here's our ensemble cast, here's the things, look at their cool stuff, but it's really it's a little ballsy to just fucking kill them. Not necessarily it makes sense in a Deadpool movie, but
the fact most of them were people you didn't know, but the fact that they got Terry Crews and they're like, you're gonna have like one line and then we're gonna kill you. That's
Terry
hilarious.
Crews and Rob Delaney, and there was one more, the acid guy I've seen and stuff. I don't know his name now, but it's not Terry Crews. But yeah, so people that you recognize.
And Brad Pitt.
And Brad Pitt as the invisible guy.
That's a great bit, by the way. Yeah. Hilarious. Very funny.
Yeah. And then the guy that's an asshole, whose name I don't know, Shatterstar. Like, they just kind of kill them immediately because there's a wind advisory and they parachute and they die.
Yeah.
What a Deadpool type of thing. I really like how Rob Delaney died. Like, it was fine for a long time, and they kind of extend it, and you think he's going to be okay, and now he's stuck with Rob Delaney, but then he just gets acided to death.
Yeah.
He didn't deserve that. Sugar Bear didn't deserve that. That was good. But Domino is great, and this is kind of the first time you see your powers. So I don't think we need them before that. T.J. Miller had some lines. Good for him.
Good for T.J. Miller in his final feature film performance.
You don't know. T.J. Miller's probably going to prison, but...
Is he? I don't know.
He called a bomb threat on an Amtrak train. The FBI got involved.
Oh.
Because he was drunk. Anyway, don't drink, kids, unless you like it. And so Domino, her power has always been luck.
Yeah.
That's kind of a thing, the domino effect. And they make a joke in this, which I think it happened in real life when they pitched it. It was probably like, oh, it's not cinematic. Luck isn't cinematic. And then they made it, obviously very cinematic.
Very if Final Destination was a superpower.
Yeah, and I like how they did it. And I also like her character. She's not just like, ooh, look at this good-looking, light-skinned African-American lady. It's like, they don't even bring that up. She's just very capable and fun to, like, she'd be around. She has a good character. She's dealing with Deadpool, which I like a lot. Yeah. And just kind of, because they have, like, walkie-talkie things, it's nice to have that. And then the cable fight on the bus thing was really fun.
Yeah.
I like that.
You know what confuses me?
What's that?
Scenes in a movie that are in the trailer, but the audience laughs as if they've never heard the joke before. You know what I mean? Marvel movies typically do a pretty good job. They actually do sort of a line-orama thing where sometimes in Marvel movies the trailer will show a different line than is actually in the film. This didn't do that, though. There were things that were directly from the trailer that I know most of the people in the audience must have seen because they're at the movie.
Yeah.
And they still laugh at it. That kind of threw me off. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that was fun when they're doing the thing and he's shooting him and he's doing the trying to block the bullets but can't.
Yeah.
Wish they hadn't spoiled that in the trailer, but I get it. You got to spoil some things to get
some sort of set pieces to get butts and seats. But Domino generates bad luck with her good luck. She killed the team. That could be true.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a fun idea. I don't think that's the case, but it's a cool idea.
It could be. I don't know if that's what they were. They might have been paying homage to that, if that is the case in the comics and stuff. Mm-hmm. But it didn't come. Like, it never happens again. So I don't know. And she gets lucky a lot.
Unless you consider bad luck when all the people that they're trying to kill die, but that's not really. I mean, it's bad luck for them.
Maybe because Deadpool gets shot, but he wants to.
I don't know. Anyway.
So yeah, I don't know.
So after that whole scene, the Juggernaut escapes, like we talked about earlier. That was a lot of fun. I really like this version of the Juggernaut. Very cool. Much better than the X3 Juggernaut. He rips Deadpool in half, which also I appreciated that Deadpool is a Juggernaut fanboy. That was kind of funny.
Well, Ryan Reynolds is a Juggernaut fanboy.
Yeah. At this point, I think it's fair to say pretty much anything Deadpool says is also something Ryan Reynolds would probably say if he were in that situation. But he rips Deadpool right in half, and he grows.
We get another one of those the baby hands thing from last time.
This time they paid homage to Basic Instinct, which was pretty fun, where he does the Sharon Stone crossing legs thing, but with baby legs and genitals. Funny, but again, it's one of those jokes for me that gets a little like we get it.
Well,
it's gross.
I liked that because they made fun of the bit. In that bit. They stand there and they all start being like, okay, we all want to get one in. We take turns doing the bit thing that we see in movies all the time. And then at the end of it, they start interrupting each other and they're like, okay, it's over. I liked that aspect of the bit where they kind of were very aware that that's what the audience expected.
I can understand that, but I feel like we're getting to the point where even that subversion of acknowledging the bit in the bit is becoming so common as a trope in and of itself.
In Deadpool or in general?
In general. I know I've seen that other places.
I mean, but not, I don't know, I guess not in a superhero movie.
I'm just saying in general. I've seen that enough where it's not enough.
That's so weird to me. What would you want them to do there?
I don't know.
Not blow his legs off in general?
No, I'm just saying if you're going to write that bit, it seems like their go-to is always acknowledge the bit, which is funny, but not if that's the joke.
It wasn't
every
last
single
time, was it? No, last time the bit was genuine.
I know.
And this time the bit is not.
But
that's why I like it. I don't think they're going to do it again.
I'm saying, okay, whatever. I'm saying within this film, a lot of the time, the joke is, we're making a joke.
About the joke.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of another instance of that.
The whole, almost all the fourth wall break, not all the fourth wall break.
Well,
jokes.
I mean,
anytime they acknowledge they're making a joke and that Deadpool is aware he is a comedy character, I understand it's part of the character, but it's a tightrope walk. I felt like the first film a little underdid it. I feel like this one a little overdid it. I think there's a happy medium somewhere.
Well, no, but that wasn't a fourth wall break. It was just the characters in general, the other characters that aren't Deadpool.
It's not.
They all razz together.
It's called something like genre savvy or genre awareness. When the characters are sort of aware of the thing they're doing and they're playing into it intentionally.
Yeah. Bo says there are a few lines where Deadpool said something like, that's just lazy writing. And he did say that a couple times. And those jokes I didn't like.
Because that joke is funny once.
Yeah, and I liked it the first time. But maybe it was a joke because it was lazy twice. Maybe that was the joke on the joke.
I think you're giving that a little too much credit.
No. What I'm saying is it wasn't clear enough. So I think even if that was the joke, it wasn't well done the second time.
Fair enough.
So definitely that. But I think as a total, I think that bit actually worked very well. But
I thought that it was funny. I'm just saying that kind of thing, in general, I'm becoming more and more aware of it.
I also like that we only got a small taste of the blind black lady that, like, she's sassy. That's the joke. We just got a little bit because she's, of course, still a character and he needed her help because she's basically his only, like, person he can latch onto for any sort of emotional assistance, but he refuses to, so he just did the cocaine thing, which was fine. So yeah, I kind of like that. I really like what they did with Dopinder,
where he wants to be part of X-Force.
Right, he's just a creep. I really, because in the first one he was clearly just in over his head, unlucky guy, and in this one it really he's got weird PTSD.
I know the guy in the first one.
I know he did, but it was Deadpool that was like, do that. You need to take it, and then Dopinder just snapped because he's dealing with Deadpool so much that he kidnaps the guy, and I think that guy ends up dying.
He does in an accidental car crash.
Yeah, and so Dopinder's just fucked up, and I'm interested to see if they keep Dopinder around. Is he gonna be a villain?
That'd be hilarious.
Right, yeah.
That's actually a good bit. That's funny.
Yeah, so I don't know. I really like whoever that actor is. I think he's only done this, or I've only noticed him in this.
I've seen him in other things.
Have you? He did a good job. You gotta kill TJ Miller, though. They didn't do it in this movie.
Oh, the next movie, I guarantee
they're gonna make a joke about TJ Miller. Yeah.
Oh, they should. What they should do?
Give Dopinder the bar. Because he was learning how to do bar stuff?
Either that or what they should do if you're not going to do that, assuming you want to do something else with Dopinder, just recast it, but like as a doesn't like maybe a black guy, I don't know, and just be like, and have just Deadpool be like, look at the camera, don't make bomb threats, kids. So just on the nose.
Yeah.
Yes, it's one of the only movies he can do that. I know that's ironic considering how much I've just talked about jokes on jokes, but that opportunity I think is worth
Mr. Slug King, is this a Shrek 2 review? Haha, thanks for the $5, asshole.
Do you think Shrek is going to be an X-Force?
I think Mike Myers would be great in a Deadpool movie so he can die.
So after all that happens, Cable comes, meets up with Deadpool. They team up.
Yeah.
They talk a little bit about the sort of apocalyptic future Cable came from. It's not clear exactly.
Days of Future Past is where Cable's from. That timeline.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he's X-Force has Bishop and stuff in it, I believe.
Bishop exists in other timelines other than just the Days of Future Past.
Well, no, I know, but he's from the future. So I mean, like,
okay,
like, and he's like Cable and him know each other, and there's other people that So yeah, I like Cable, the good guy.
You know what? Surprisingly, for a film that is so comedic and so tongue-in-cheek and so doesn't take anything seriously, I actually
serious moments.
I bought into him caring about his family. And
I bought into
there.
Deadpool being sad too.
Yeah, these movies actually do a really good job of that. Surprisingly.
You know what it does? It does the Rick and Morty's thing.
Yeah,
like it's so. I think they're so blasé about everything that when they care, it means more. And I don't know how that actually works. It emotionally, it makes sense every single time that kind of thing happens. Like I gave a shit in the first movie about his like finally finding happiness and not wanting to, be like Elephant Man syndrome kind of.
Yeah.
I felt sorry, and that was weird for a character that doesn't really deserve or need my sympathy. He got it anyway. I think part of it's Ryan Reynolds, but like with the Cable stuff, the charm is gone. Although it was funny where he's like, "Oh, what do you got? Like a dirty teddy bear there?" And he goes, "These are the ashes of my family." Like, oh, and then Deadpool goes, "Oh," like that was a good bit. I think that was probably the best joke line for Cable the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. So then they go to the place where the kid was. I like that kid, by the way. That character is a tough one. That character could very easily be a kid that you just go, oh, fuck this kid. But I think they did a good enough job in casting, and I really you understood why this kid was such kind of a cunt. It made sense, and it made sense for Deadpool to try and care about this kid and try and reform him before he goes down a path too dark.
Yeah. I also think you can kind of, when they have a Kiwi accent, you can make them say weird shit because it's charming.
Yeah.
And so it really worked.
Yeah.
It was a really, really good idea. I don't know if they thought, like, let's get a New Zealand kid. He probably auditioned, and then they decided that, because he says a couple things like idioms that don't really make any sense.
Yeah.
They're good. I also like that he was a little fat kid.
Yeah.
That was fun. And just, I don't know, it just made him... It made me give a shit about, like, because he can't really defend himself unless he burns people to death. Why does Juggernaut like him, though?
Plot convenience. And Juggernaut, I think, is just like, yeah, let's go cause destruction. I think he was fine with an ally in any case in that situation.
Yeah.
Also, the plot did demand it, so.
It did. I wouldn't have hated a little bit more Juggernaut, like, discussion. Like, maybe just a scene with those two talking.
Yeah.
Like in a warehouse or wherever their place was.
It wouldn't surprise me if there's a deleted scene somewhere with that, but they just decided in editing, like, this is cumbersome or it feels a little weird.
It probably would have felt a little weird because Juggernaut had no other scenes.
Yeah, it's all from the perspective of Deadpool other than that. So really it wouldn't have made sense to inject just...
That's probably true. Yeah, we don't ever really cut away from Dead except for when we're with Cable.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And that's only in the future for a little bit. Other than that, I think,
Even when you have stuff with, like, Domino, she's on the talking to Deadpool the whole time. So.
Yeah.
And after that, they just have a little thing about, family. That's fine. The moral. I actually I thought the emotional center was a little stronger in the first film, but this one did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And what did it even end with? Just, The
movie?
Deadpool jumps in front of the bullet to save the kid. The kid changes his mind. And then long death scene like we talked about. And then Cable decides instead of going back to his family right away, he's going to save Deadpool.
Because the future is shitty.
Yeah, which he wants to help stick around and help fix, which is fine. I like that motivation. It makes a lot of sense, and it's not like he has a time machine. Even though he's out of fuel right now,
He can go back. Yeah, I think it's weird to get a character arc for Cable that way, because he didn't have a ton of lines. He was in the movie a lot, but we don't really get like thoughts from Cable a ton in this.
His actions speak much louder than
right, which is kind of Cable's thing anyway. I also like the really cool gun. They made the really cool gun really cool.
Yeah, all his stuff with his arm and like being able to get the gun back to him, all that stuff, I thought that was done really well. And I didn't know that much about Cable going into this. I still don't, obviously, aside from what's in the movie.
Sure.
But I think even in this movie they reference like, oh, nice Winter Soldier arm or something like that. Did a good job.
Cable was, contemporary to that shit.
Right.
So.
It's a good differentiation between the two. It's not just another metal arm guy. It like has functions and it's very helpful in battle and he's able to do things that other people aren't. So I thought that was neat.
Right. I don't know how he got his injury.
I don't know. Something to do with, I assume, all this war. He's, by the way, I think he's definitely the kid of Cyclops and someone else. I don't know if it's Jean Grey.
In the books, but I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what they're doing for this because, of course, those two characters are kind of in limbo as this deal sort of coalesces.
And credits stuff?
Yeah, I guess. God, I just like this movie. I want to talk about like every little scene.
Cyclops and Madeline Pryor. Thanks, Legend of Phoenix.
There was I want to talk about this real quick.
Okay.
Mickey Ficky. Hi. Deadpool, there's a rumor that Deadpool's new romantic companion will be Cable. That's not going to be the case. But that brings up a discussion about how the writers of Deadpool consider him pansexual. Okay. And he's always been so, which I find interesting and I think would be well done by this writing crew.
Okay.
And I know I don't really care that much. I'm just saying it was an interesting conversation.
Sure.
Specifically because this movie just came out.
Yeah.
But his girlfriend's alive, so.
Yeah. The end credits as a Yuki and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I don't know how they're able to fix this. Maybe, I don't know if Yuki is a thing in the comics and she has like technical powers or prowess or Negasonic Teenage Warhead does. Anyway, they're able to fix Cable's time machine. Deadpool goes into the timeline, saves at least Peter from X-Force.
Yeah, he saves Peter.
Not the other ones, though, as far as
Let's
I know.
be real. Why would you?
Sure.
Saves Peter, so Rob Delaney will hopefully be in the next, because he's just, what a lovable man. I like mustache chubby Rob Delaney a lot.
Is it Rob Delaney?
It was
just a guy that looked like him.
No, it's Rob Delaney.
Okay.
He's like been promoting this movie for months, and he was in it for 5 seconds.
He was one of the funnier parts of it.
He was so
honestly,
great, yeah.
We also get, of course, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Deadpool comes in and kills that Deadpool.
Yeah, got Green Lantern gone.
Honestly, I think we needed that scene of Deadpool killing that version of Deadpool.
Yeah.
That's very cathartic, I'd imagine, for Ryan Reynolds, considering...
That's 2 times they've referenced that fucking character, by the way. He had a little action figure of him in the first movie.
This was so much more satisfying than him slicing his head off, though. So nice. And then, of course, the end, the Green Lantern one. That was pretty funny. Did you see Warner Brothers tweeted him about that?
No.
Oh, they tweeted him and they're like, so Ryan Reynolds, we're going to need that Green Lantern ring back or something like that. And he was like, yeah, I wasn't using it anyway or something. I don't know. Anyway. So, yeah. And I heard there was like a song at the very end of the credits about Juggernaut, but I didn't stay for that. So I'll wait for the Blu-ray release, I guess.
Pansexual is a nonsense concept. I'm okay with being called a man whore. No, I mean, it really would...
Pansexual is a defined term. I think it just means you're attracted to someone regardless of their sex, gender identity, outward presenting, all that.
Yeah. So bisexual would be 2.
Yeah.
It could be a tri, quad, whatever, but pan just more. All of them.
Sure.
It doesn't ever it doesn't factor in. What factors in is your ability to, enjoy each other's company and shit.
Or as you put it, man whore, whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. It is a thing. Jake, show Bobs, please. No Bobs for you. At 1 million, though, we get dick pics of... at 1 million subscribers on the other channel, we get dick pics from him.
What?
Yeah, you said that.
Did I say that? Oh, good thing that's never happening.
Yeah, so tell your friends, because if we get 1 million... I don't want to see him, but he promised, so... Paul brought it up a bunch.
Why does he want to see my dick? It's a strikingly average penis, let me tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. It is very symmetrical, though. Good for you. Not a vein out of place. Okay, we'll take some time for some questions from you guys. If you guys have any questions about the movie, let's do that. I'm trying to think of anything else in Deadpool that like just stood out to me. All of it was very good, though. If you haven't seen it yet, well, I don't know why you're here, but you should go see it.
The more I see this, the more I want Deadpool and Tom Holland's Spider-Man to interact. And I know it'll never happen, even when this merger goes through, because you can't mix kid-friendly Spider-Man with so adult Deadpool.
No, I think you can when Tom Holland, who is in his 20s, isn't playing a high schooler.
So maybe like 5 years down the line.
I think in 5-6 years. Okay. I think there's a way to get it done. You can even make it a Spider-Man movie, and Deadpool, fourth Wally, goes, "You mean I can't kill? I can't swear?" And Spider-Man's going off a checklist or something. Like, no, you can't do that. And
Spider-Man can't have a checklist. Spider-Man isn't genre savvy. He doesn't know he's in a comic.
Sure, or whoever, or Deadpool being like,
the fun reaction.
It'd be funny if Tom Holland was like, or Peter Parker, I guess, was like, I mean, I'd prefer if you didn't.
The funnest stuff to me in Deadpool is when he's interacting with other comic book characters. Even in the Deadpool like comic series, I mean, it obviously it's very comedy slanted depending on the writer. I know that there's different writers in different eras. Earlier on, it was less comedy and it got more so. But I like it when other people are looking at Deadpool and you see Deadpool from the perspective of other heroes.
Yeah.
Because when you're in Deadpool's perspective, it's all fourth wall breaking and jokes. When you're seeing Deadpool from the perspective of someone like Spider-Man, Deadpool just looks like a whack job, insane serial killer who mercenary, kills everyone.
Yeah.
And I like that version of it too. I like seeing that perspective of it, and like not seeing what'd be great if they did do it and he appeared in a movie that was not a Deadpool movie. Deadpool goes to mug at the camera, but it's not the actual camera.
Yeah, he's off.
He's off looking at whatever camera he's talking to in that movie, and we're seeing it from the perspective of someone else. Like, what the fuck is he doing?
Experimentally, this doesn't work, but the concept is interesting to me. It works better in comics. As if you have just say a Spider-Man comic, and then you also have a Deadpool comic from his perspective. Movies, it wouldn't work. I don't think that medium really meshes. Maybe a short though, like a short film, like a 15 minutes or something.
Disney's been, I think, wanting Marvel to. Remember, they used to do the one shots that were really brief. Like,
yeah, they not do those anymore.
No, they stopped doing them. But Disney's actually been saying they want to bring those back and start doing it and start filling in sort of fun little gaps that they don't have opportunities to do full films for, but they want to have little, side stories.
Yeah, they're usually 5 to 10, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I like those.
Yeah.
I think Spider-Man and Wolverine are my number one crossovers. I can't think of really anybody else that I just need. Someone asked about Lobo. Are you familiar with Lobo?
Yeah, he's a DC character.
Yeah, they're making a movie. Should it be jokey or badass and extreme?
I don't know enough about Lobo.
The problem with it being a DC movie is people expect it to be riding the line between jokey and badass and extreme. Because they just cannot figure out a fucking way to make a film.
I assume what's going to happen is
it's going to be bad and probably won't get made.
They probably greenlit Lobo because this is the closest thing we have to Deadpool, right? And don't say Deathstroke because Deathstroke is conceptually very different than Deadpool, and you know it. Obviously, Deadpool visually and his name being Slade Wilson, I understand that. But their modern conceptions are very, very distinct entities. And Lobo is like mercenary who cracks jokes. So that's where I'm seeing the parallel. And I'm afraid DC's going to do what they did with Suicide Squad and say, man, Marvel did well with Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's try and do that.
Yeah.
And make a shitty movie trying to copy what Marvel's done. And that's what I think Lobo
rides a space motorcycle through space.
Hey, listen.
It's fine as a comic book, but I don't think DC, whoever's in charge of DC right now, should not.
DC shouldn't
touch it.
Warner Brothers, I don't trust them to touch anything regarding to DC right now, as far as I'm concerned. Marvel has made the dumbest stuff work. Can you imagine in 2008 me telling you, like, hey, there's going to be a movie that you're really going to like, and it's going to have a talking raccoon and a big tree, and it's going to have Kurt Russell and they're in space?
In 2011 or so, they started talking, it must have been a little bit later, they started talking about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And I had a friend at the time, Tony, and we had class together, and he's a huge Guardians of the Galaxy book fan. And he was like, dude, they just greenlit this movie. You need to read the books. I never did, but...
I've heard they're quite a bit different.
They are different. But he said that he was very much looking forward to the film, and I think he ended up liking it. I had never heard of them before that very moment, and when he pitched it to me, I thought, that is the dumbest shit ever. I don't want this. This is going to ruin it.
Yeah.
And it didn't. I was wrong. It actually made it a lot better.
Well, James Gunn's a very competent director and screenwriter.
People want to know why you're red right now, but
I have rosacea, which is a condition in which the blood cells in your face are very close to the surface, and you have too many of them.
If I cut you, would you gush like a Deadpool villain?
I don't know, but my face gets really red, especially when I get warm, and it's quite warm in here for me right now because the door's shut, and we're two large men very close together. This isn't even a couch. This is a love seat.
This is a love seat.
So,
yeah. We
don't have the budget for couches.
Doctor Strange and Deadpool. Meh.
At this point, and I like Doctor Strange. We talked about this in our
Yeah.
Infinity War review. I like him in that he is more morally flexible, I'd argue, than someone like Iron Man or Captain America. He has a goal, and his goal is to protect the realm, damned be anything else. And that's why he allows, like he says to Stark when he's on the ship in that movie, I'll let you two die if I have to protect this stone. And then, of course, in the end, he gives the stone, but that's due to a larger grand plan in progress. It still has to do with that goal. So I don't think that's as interesting as, like, a Peter Parker-Deadpool relationship, because Peter Parker is so the opposite of Deadpool.
Yeah.
He's especially young Peter Parker before a lot of the bad stuff that happens to him, like Gwen Stacy.
Or MJ.
Yeah, he's fairly upbeat and, like, tries to do the best. He's trying to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That clashes completely with what Deadpool is as this violent mercenary.
Well, another gag you could do with that is, like, Deadpool's trying to kill people and you got the webs to, like, and then he tries to go, hey, and then web over him. So you can kind of make a joke about how he's not in an R-rated film this time or whatever. And again, with the Wolverine, I think you could indulge and have an R-rated film.
Yeah.
And have it be just, like, I think Logan was a good kind of way to approach the R-rated Wolverine, where it's pretty, like, being Wolverine would be very PTSD inducing because he's constantly slicing folks.
Also, he's been in every, like, war since he was born.
Right.
Like,
so his life is really fucking hard.
I think from, like, the Civil War until now.
Yeah, it was...
In fairness, a lot of that got memory erased by some of his stuff, but I think it gets brought back by the time of Logan. I think he remembers stuff like that.
So yeah, I think those two characters mesh really well, and it'd be interesting. I just hope they cast it correctly.
Yeah.
And if it's competently written, I think those crossovers could do.
I still think if he wasn't being Venom, Tom Hardy would be an excellent Wolverine cast. If you're replacing Hugh Jackman,
I don't hate him as Venom, but I just think it's going to go poorly. Like,
I think Venom's going to be really bad.
The design looks really cool, but I don't think. I think that's what they were, like, banking on. Like it's 2004 or something.
It looks like a movie that should have come out around the same time as the Ben Affleck Daredevil,
right?
Or the Elektra movie or whatever.
Oh, I can't believe they got a sequel.
Yeah,
crazy. Thoughts on X-Force cast? Who should be added? That's the last one.
Oh, God, I don't even know. I don't know. No. I'm open and honest about this. I like Marvel. Not a huge X-Men fan. It's like the one part of that universe, along with, like, Blade and sort of that kind of stuff, that I'm not a big fan of and I'm not really familiar with. Sure, at least a lot of the other stuff I have a parsing knowledge of.
Well, I think you can do X-Force without having the actual X-Force cast from, like, the books and stuff. I think you could do, like, you could pluck the good parts of X-Men. I think they teased it, but I don't think it actually ever came to fruition just based on how the person looked. But Nightcrawler might have been in this movie. There was a blue guy with like ears and like I don't know. It might have been probably
I don't
not.
think
I
it was
don't know.
supposed to be Nightcrawler.
It was.
I saw the blue guy, but it
Yeah,
doesn't
I
look
thought
enough like Nightcrawler.
Well, I mean, it just depends on what they're going for. But
also, there was Nightcrawler in the brief scene where the X-Men were in the X-Mansion and you saw him and they closed the door because wasn't he in
I don't remember.
the most recent Apocalypse
I
film?
don't remember,
I
but
think he was probably there.
I think Nightcrawler would be a cool addition just because his powers are neat and he's interesting looking.
I like Nightcrawler.
Wolverine at some point.
Yeah.
Um,
It'd be fun if the X-Force film had them the
Yeah.
villain in that was Wolverine for some reason. It wouldn't be obviously.
I think that's too close to what they just did with Cable, though.
That's fair.
So I think there's some cool villains you can pick. I'm stretching for his name right now. He's a silver guy.
I know you're not, but that, for some reason, Silver Surfer.
No.
Silver guy. I know.
Anyways, he's a super bad guy.
What's he do? What's his powers?
Fuck. God, I can't remember his name. It's driving me fucking crazy right now.
Silver Samurai.
No, they did that in Wolverine, and it was terrible. I can't remember his name. It's fine, but there's some pretty cool villains that are just like hyper evil that I think would be really good for an R-rated Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
That just like straight up want to kill people. There's some. It would feel more like an Avengers movie if they did it, but there's like Brood, which are like aliens. And they look a lot like the Starship Trooper aliens. And they kind of just attack the world. Or
I don't think they should tackle it.
I don't think so either.
I don't think Deadpool in this version of Deadpool.
There's Mr. Sinister is interesting.
That's a Spider-Man villain.
I know.
Oh wait, no, it's not. Mr. Sinister. Who am I thinking of? I was thinking of Mr.
Sinestro.
I was thinking of Mr. Negative. Sorry.
Oh,
who is Mr. Sinister? I don't remember.
Mr. Sinister is a Marvel villain. I had his card. He's like he's got. I'll show you. He looks a little bit like Colossus if I remember correctly, but he's like got red and black and a cape. Let me show you.
Oh yeah,
He's got the flat top and the he's just got that weird cape. I don't know how you'd pull that off, but he could be interesting. I wouldn't hate like maybe just how like what the X-Men tried to do, but I think Deadpool would tackle a little bit better is like the Sentinels and like the world not wanting mutants. I think Deadpool is a good foil for that with the X-Force. Just because like they can approach politics better. You know what I mean? Like it's more honest. It's not like X-Men kind of has to be like for kids.
It has to be for general audiences. Yes.
Sure. And like maybe because like stuff like Civil War came out, maybe you can do it.
Yeah.
Although even then they don't really pick a side, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No,
Iron Man by the end.
Well, like Iron Man and Captain America are like the Accords still split both of those until this last movie.
That's fair.
They don't even talk. So I'm just saying, like they have the conversation without giving an answer. Yeah. I think Deadpool can very clearly be like, "Nah, this is wrong," and it wouldn't come across as I don't know. X-Men gets preachy because of the nature of their characters.
When you're trying to do something and you're not
an allegory for racism, it's hard to not keep reaching into that bucket.
When you're doing allegory, it can feel heavy-handed, whereas if you're honest about it and you're just upfront and say the thing, at least it's honest. Does that make sense?
Right, yeah. So I think Deadpool would work better as an introduction to the... I want to see Deadpool fight the Sentinels in like a really good like representation of them. The old style animated series purple robots isn't necessarily what I want, but something like an updated version of that. I think their production design is good enough to where I think they'd get the concept correct.
Someone actually says Mr. Sinister could be intriguing, but a major costume change is needed. For a Deadpool movie, I completely disagree. Flat top and everything, have it be terrible, because in Deadpool you can get away with it.
It's kind of like Taserface in Guardians 2, where you just like laugh at it the whole time.
And because it's a Deadpool movie, you'd be like, Jesus Christ! I mean, comic book accuracy, but like, dude, and like in that case, I would even have Deadpool like reach off screen, pull in actual costume designer, and be like, what is this? I'm not very steadfast in my opinion that they're laying it on too thick with the fourth wall jokes, because every time I pitch a joke, it's an even bigger fourth wall joke. Yeah. This is why I don't write films. Also, I'm incompetent.
I think it's Strife that I was thinking of for the record.
Okay.
The silver guy. Yep, that's the one. Strife.
Oh,
Again, costume rework probably needed.
No,
but
I
I like this one
oh, that's pretty
because
good.
he fights Cable a lot,
Okay.
and that's why I was thinking about him. He's just
I like
look
that.
at that hyper masculine.
Yeah, very 90s.
Yeah, and so there's that other one. The red guy with the things that come out of his fucking arms, the tentacles. What is his name? It's Red something. I don't know. Maybe I'll not Strife X-Men villains, but just X-Men villains in general. Maybe I'll come up with it.
I'm wondering,
Yeah.
because Deadpool is doing so well, and X-Men Apocalypse did not do well, and they're currently slated to do the Dark Phoenix saga.
Ugh.
I'm wondering if they're gonna pull a marketing thing and be like, we gotta put Deadpool in it somewhere, and there's gonna be a scene in Dark Phoenix with Deadpool just so they can put it in the trailer to try and get people to show up. Because I don't think that many people are that interested in this cast of X-Men at this point. I mean, I like the guy playing Professor Xavier for the most part. It's hard to beat Patrick Stewart, but if you're doing a young Xavier, I think he does a good job. But the X-Men in general and sort of the universe they've set up other than that, I'm not interested in.
Omega Red.
Oh, okay.
He's kind of got this feel of like it's a very Rocky IV thing. Like he's a Russian thing.
Oh, okay.
Mr. X. There you go. Ooh, Quicksilver as a villain has always been cool. I don't think that's going to work out. But yeah, there's some in here that are just terrible. That's just a piece of chicken or something.
All right. So I think that's it. Overall, I really enjoyed the film. Again, I said this, I think, earlier. One of the best comedy sequels to come out in a long time. It's up there with 22 Jump Street. Not many comedy sequels can actually say they're at least as funny as the original, and I'd say this one is. So,
yeah,
good
definitely.
for them. Good for them overall, especially considering, God, the fact that a Deadpool movie was made well,
Yeah.
made a ton of money,
Got
made
a
a sequel that's also made well, and also is making good money.
X-Force is the next movie.
Yeah. Pretty
So the
interesting.
sequel's going to make a sequel. Yeah. And good for Ryan Reynolds, who was like his career was fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it had been changing in the recent years, but like this is like the Ryan Reynolds thing. I'm really, because I like Ryan Reynolds as a person.
Sure.
He seems nice. He seems funny, and he seems very self-aware and like he means well. I like that. Like he just doesn't preach and shit. He's just like, let's just be happy, man. I like that shit, man. I want to hang out with Ryan Reynolds and be totally emasculated by his presence.
Sounds good. So I think that's it. You can always follow us on Twitter at Papa Bird Jake.
Hugo Reloaded. You can also subscribe to the channel and make sure that Hugo gets validated for all his hard work. And because if he doesn't, he's going to run over people with a school bus.
Oh, that'll make sense
Tomorrow.
Anyway, that makes it sound like I'm going to hit people with a school bus tomorrow.
Oh, wow, it does, yeah.
No.
Not what I meant.
Anyway.
I hope.
I'm Hugo.
Jake.
We're not FBI. It's fine. Nothing's happening.
It's good.
Do I look confident enough to commit a mass murder? Absolutely not. I can't even grow proper facial hair. We're fine.
Those are the best mass murderers.
Well, check out our other channel tomorrow.